It all began on a Tuesday, a day so profoundly mediocre, it felt like a personal insult from the universe. I was wandering through one of those discount stores that smell of plastic despair and shattered dreams when I saw it. Perched between a questionable-looking blender and a set of garden gnomes with suspiciously vacant expressions was a rubber chicken. It was not just any rubber chicken. This one possessed a certain Guinness Icequoy, a silent, rubbery judgment in its painted-on eyes. It seemed to mock my very existence, my sensible shoes, my carefully curated grocery list. So, naturally, I bought it. I named him Bartholomew. Taking Bartholomew home was the first step down a rabbit hole I did not know existed. I placed him on the kitchen counter, a splash of garish yellow against my beige. Predictable life. The first strange thing happened that night. As I was attempting to assemble a flat-packed bookshelf, a task designed by demons to test the limits of human sanity, I heard a faint squawk. It was not the loud, obnoxious sound one would expect. It was a soft, almost contemplative squawk, like a philosopher clearing his throat before making a profound point. I dismissed it. My brain, I reasoned, was simply melting from the indecipherable Swedish instructions. The next day, things escalated. My morning coffee tasted vaguely of vulcanized rubber. My cat, a creature of discerning taste who usually only acknowledges my existence when her food bowl is empty, was sitting before Bartholomew in a state of rapt attention, as if receiving a silent sermon. Later, as I was on a tedious video conference call, discussing quarterly revenue projections, Bartholomew, of his own volition, tumbled from the counter and landed perfectly in frame. Its beak pointed accusingly at my boss on the screen. The call went silent. My boss, a man whose emotional range spans from mild annoyance to moderate annoyance, just stared. I mumbled something about a draft and quickly ended the call. Life with Bartholomew became a series of small, inexplicable absurdities. My socks would rearrange themselves into complex geometric patterns. My toothpaste started spelling out cryptic messages on the bathroom mirror. Words like why and really. I began to suspect Bartholomew was not just an inanimate object. He was a catalyst, a harbinger of chaos, a rubbery agent of the surreal. My grip on reality, already tenuous at best, was beginning to feel like a poorly stitched seam. I started taking him with me. It felt safer than leaving him at home to redecorate my apartment in the style of a debased nightmare. We went to the park. I sat on a bench. Bartholomew perched beside me and watched the world go by. That is when the pigeons arrived, not just one or two, but a whole flock. They did not descend in their usual frantic, breadcrumb-seeking manner. They assembled in an orderly, almost military formation, directly in front of my bench. They ignored the stale crackers an old lady was tossing nearby. Their focus was entirely on us, on Bartholomew. Then, the lead pigeon, a rather plump specimen with an iridescent sheen to its neck feathers, cooed. It was not a normal pigeon coo. It was a low, resonant sound, and I understood it. I do not mean I interpreted it. I understood the words as clearly as if they were spoken in perfect English. It said, "The vessel is present. The discourse may commence." I looked at Bartholomew, whose painted smile seemed wider, more knowing. Another pigeon, this one leaner and with a slightly crazed look in its eye, stepped forward and cooed. What is the nature of the squeak? Is it a cry of joy, or a lament for the voicelessness of the polymer soul? I was, to put it mildly, stunned. I was having a philosophical debate with a flock of pigeons, moderated by a rubber chicken. My life had officially veered off the map of sanity and was now charting a course through the bizarre archipelago of the absurd. The first pigeon, apparently the group's resident stoic, responded. The squeak is merely an auditory byproduct of displaced air. To assign it meaning is to fall into the trap of anthropocentric projection. A third pigeon, a scruffy-looking one with a twig in its feathers, chimed in. But is not all existence a projection? Are we not all just perceiving patterns in the chaos and calling it reality? This human, for instance, believes his purchase of the Yellow Oracle was an act of free will. An amusing notion. They all turned their beady little eyes to me. I felt an immense pressure to contribute something meaningful to this interspecies symposium. I looked down at Bartholomew, my silent, rubbery guru. What could I say? That I bought him because I was bored. that his vacant stare was a mirror to my own existential ennui. The pigeons waited, their heads cocked with an unnerving intelligence. I opened my mouth, and what came out was not a profound statement on the human condition, but the first thing that popped into my head. I asked, "Do you guys ever worry about flying into windows?" The pigeons fell silent. They looked at each other, Tinbakame, a wave of collective avian disappointment washing over the park. The lead pigeon shook its head slowly. "He is not ready," it cooed, a sound now tinged with undeniable pity. The lean, crazed pigeon added, "The vessel brought us a simpleton, a profound waste of a perfectly good Tuesday, and we thought as one." They turned and flew away, leaving me alone on the bench with my rubber chicken and the shattered remnants of my mundane reality. I looked at Bartholomew. His painted smile was unchanged, his expression eternally, maddeningly neutral. Had any of it happened? Was I the victim of a stress-induced hallucination? A brain misfiring after too many spreadsheets and not enough meaning? Or had I genuinely stumbled upon a secret? A world just beneath the surface where pigeons debate metaphysics and rubber chickens are conduits to the cosmos. The line between the profound and the ridiculous had been completely erased. I stood up, tucked Bartholomew under my arm, and started walking home. The world looked different. The trees seemed to be whispering secrets. The clouds formed questioning shapes. The honk of a car horn sounded like a critique of my life choices. I had sought a momentary distraction from the beige tapestry of my life. A cheap, plastic joke. What I got was a full-blown existential crisis, delivered by a committee of urban birds. Life, I realized, is not about finding answers. It is about learning to live with the increasingly bizarre questions, and perhaps appreciating the sheer, unadulterated absurdity of it all. My life was no longer mediocre. It was now certifiably insane. And honestly, it was a significant improvement. Bartholomew squawked, a soft, affirmative sound. Or maybe that was just me, finally breaking. It is hard to tell these days. The important thing is, I am no longer bored. If this descent into madness resonated with your own quiet desperation, consider sharing this video with someone who would appreciate the absurdity. Like this video if you too have ever been judged by an inanimate object, and subscribe for more explorations into the ridiculous abyss we call existence.